Welcome to a new episode of the Nomad Summit podcast. Today it's again an in-person recording, and it's one more time a four-way conversation with three interesting individuals and myself. My name is Christoph. I'm the host here today. And if you're listening to exactly this, then you are a lucky one who is listening to an unedited version of the podcast. In the later version, this will be cut out, so bear with us if there might be some glitches in this one. Lucky you, that's not usually happening, but due to some logistical issues today, we first publish an unedited version. In the later version, this all will be gone. So today we are sitting in the Fraqmented Coworking space in Tallinn together with all three of the founders. So I'm sitting at the table here with Çağatay, with Markus, and with Alistair, three people that came to Estonia with a different background and then founded a business together. Welcome.
Hi. So this is Çağatay. I'm here in Estonia for 2.5 years. And we started Fraqmented almost like around 10 months. And we are here today, and then we're going to talk about our backgrounds and also about Fraqmented.
My name is Markus, and I'm a Danish guy that moved here also approximately 2.5 years ago. I've been a part of Fraqmented since the beginning with both Çağatay and Alistair.
Yeah, and hi, I'm Alistair. I'm British from Cambridge, been doing business in the Baltics for about 9 years and living here over the last couple of years on and off, and met Çağatay and Markus.
So you are three very, very different guys, also visually speaking. So Markus is the Viking here with a long beard. Alistair is freshly shaven, no beard at all. And Çağatay looks like almost like you would imagine a Turkish person. Like he has a beard, but he doesn't have a face on his top hat. So you all came here as remote workers, as digital workers. So you were trying to use local co-working spaces. And if I'm not mistaken, you met through a co-working event, like a Friday's co-working event. And what happened then that you decided to take this to the next level?
Yeah, I mean, we basically were kind of avid networkers, the three of us. We like people, and we like business, and we set up. I kind of brought together a Friday meeting on the long wooden tables at Fotografiska Cafe in the center of Tallinn 2 years ago, and just to bring together a community, to build a community. And Çağatay and Markus were some of the early people who came along to that every Friday. And then we just started talking about doing it properly one day. But that was happening every Friday for a couple of years. We built up around kind of 200 people who came in and out of that community. And then Çağatay and Markus, and I started talking about doing it properly, having a nice place where we could give people more. And it was born out of that, really.
Yeah. That's quite fascinating. So, as a person who has founded businesses with co-founders a lot in my last 20 years, I also often burnt my fingers with like poor decisions on co-founders. You guys seem to know each other for quite a bit, and you have probably, I mean, at least it looks like you've gone through a proper assessment of you as a team, like probably did some like personality tests and see how you match and how you complement each other, or not. How did you each of you like commit to dive into this with the two others? What was that process looking like?
I think you can do as many personality tests as you want, but it won't really show who the person actually is until you've worked with them. So I think there's no way of doing it besides just either burning your fingers or succeeding. So we just jumped into it. We know Alistair and Çağatay, they wanted a physical place, and I'd been talking with Alistair about doing something digital when we started first. And then so we wanted to combine all of that. And I think the reason why we work well together is because we're not exactly the same personality type. I think we complement each other. Çağatay is very strict on getting everything done and automated. and Alistair is an avid networker and getting the right people in. And I don't know what I contribute with, but I do some of the digital stuff. Yeah, I think that just worked well, and we kind of assessed our expectations to each other in the beginning.
So let's find out, Alistair, why do you have Markus in the team?
Well, he's basically he's about half my age, I should say. We don't want to say your age or my age at this point because that would be bad for me. But basically, he's a genius. He's like,
So you want to say he's just 15?
well, basically, yeah, more or less. Thank you. Yeah, no, he's a genius. He's built all these different kinds of businesses. He knows what's what. He's got street smarts, and he does a lot of tech here. So he does a huge amount. Yeah.
And I mean, now I play the game. Why do we have Çağatay in the team?
It's back to me again. Okay, great. Well, he is known as our human automator. Yeah, he's the automatizer or automator of every system we have. So that's a skill set that I've never encompassed before in quite the level that he has. And he's done that in his other businesses around the world, and he's doing it for Fraqmented. And that allows us to concentrate on the people as opposed to just the nuts and bolts of building a place.
Çağatay, why is Alistair here?
Yeah, I think Markus, Alistair, if we had 5 more people, it would be the same, because if you have one idea and if you are trying to reach to the idea for yourself or for your business, it's better to have more people, because then you can delegate the work and then some other people can do different things and it's easier to handle. So yeah, Alistair is good with networking, and then he is meeting with the people maybe I will not be able to meet. And I'm meeting different people he will not be able to meet. And Markus also meeting different people, maybe 2 of us. So it's like a contribution from all around. And yeah, I mean, we are just trying to automate as much as possible so we don't have to deal with daily work here.
So that's because for all 3 of you, this co-working space is quite an exciting project, but it's your side hustle. All 3 of you have another main business, and you're running this as a kind of a hobby that should pay for itself by the end of the day? Or what's your approach to this?
I think Fraqmented is I think any co-working space really is a passion business. So we're not expecting this to be any multi-million dollar business. But having said that, I don't think any of us see our other businesses as the main business. It's just they might bring in what we live for, but they're not necessarily what we're most passionate about. So I think our passion is divided into our businesses, but Fraqmented definitely takes a big chunk of the passion. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just picking up on what Markus is saying, it's definitely not a kind of a side hustle or a secondary thing, which is what I think you're saying, because you live it, you breathe it. It's kind of a way of life in Tallinn, in Estonia, in the Nordics, and there's people coming in and out of here that you get to meet, and then you get to meet again in other places that are not in Tallinn. So it's this whole kind of community, and it obviously it helps us with our other businesses. Our other businesses help it. So it's kind of every directional, and it's just a very, very cool thing that we are putting a lot of passion into every day. And yeah, it's got to wash its own face at one point, absolutely. But it's community first, profit second right now.
Your journey is one that we often see in the Nomads community. I mean, people who are coming to the Nomads Summit or who are listening to this podcast, they're interested in the personal stories and how people make their location-independent lifestyle work, or how this life cycle looks like. And we often see that people like you, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like each of you came to Tallinn, came to Estonia with a location-independent job. So you decided to move here for all other reasons than for a business, for a job. You came here because you liked the place, maybe for love or whatever reason. So a location-independent job or business allowed you to come here to then, in the next step, or to kind of end the cycle with coming back to a location-bound business. Yeah, Alistair, you're.
Yeah, I mean, I think the 3 of us are quite philosophical. So location can be, in the heart. Location can be a digital place. And this might be location bound, as in it's a physical space in the heart of the old town Tallinn, but it's just much, much more than that. So it has tentacles or feelers or lines of contact into all sorts of things around this part of the world and into our home countries. And we come and go like nomads do. And I personally live in Estonia about half of the time, and Germany a quarter of the time, where my kids live, and England, where I'm from, where I have family and friends. And it's just Fraqmented. The name was actually conjured up by Markus, but it captures it very well. There's fragments coming together from all sorts of corners of the world and coming together in this very diverse, rich community environment. That is, it's a location, but it's not a location.
That's a very interesting aspect, and it sounds like Çağatay wants to add to that.
Maybe I should add, because like for me it's a little bit, I mean, all of the things Alistair said, but like when I came here with all the things Estonia offer, like digital stuff, like it's easy to move and then you don't have to do any paperwork. These were the reasons I came here, and then I was happy, but the problem was I didn't have a center of my life here. Like I had a comfortable house, and we found everything for our life, the health, and then the school for the kid. But all the businesses are remote, and it's not easy to be able to connect with other people, and then there is no other place than your own house. So I faced these difficulties when I came here, and then when I met Alistair for the Coworking Fridays, then I realized that this really helps, that I feel really belong to Tallinn and Estonia. Then I started to feel less about moving to another place. Then I told Alistair, like, yeah, it worked for me, so it should be working for other people. So it's not only just opening a place and then putting chairs and tables, but we want to help people who is coming here and not able to really connect with not locals, but like Estonia itself or Tallinn, always having second thoughts of moving other place or going in winter and coming back in the summer. So as I know, Estonia brings a lot of entrepreneurs, but keeping them here is also another part of the job. So we will be focusing here, helping the people staying in Estonia rather than going and coming back. So this is the main idea.
Yeah, and I think just to add to that, I think we know that a lot of nomads, they're of course traveling to all sorts of countries, but also a lot of nomads, they have their bases in some countries. They might travel the entire world, but they will always see one or two countries as the one that they will come back to, because they have either a small network, or they have maybe some family there, or it could be anything. So I think what we want to is for the people that want to choose their own family to have a place to come back to. So Fraqmented kind of becomes this, and we're trying to do that with the interior also to make it homey. So we want it to be the solo entrepreneurs and nomads home in Tallinn when they're in Tallinn, and then also the local entrepreneurs, so they can connect. So you'll always have someone to go to the bar with, you'll always have someone to go to a comedy show with, or what it might be, or running, yeah. So yeah, we're starting a running club also. But yeah, so all these small activities that you would normally do with friends, we reckon they can be hard to do with nomads, because or nomad friend circles, because your friends might be on the other side of the planet when you want to play paddle. So yeah,
that resonates a lot with me, because you're basically talking about me. I've been I've been coming to Estonia every summer for the 8th year in a row now. It's not summer anymore. That's also why I sound a little bit like I have a cold. I actually did have this weekend, but reminded me again now it's early November that this is maybe not the season where I usually hang out here. But the summer is here just so beautiful. And Fraqmented has shown to be the place where the community meets. And I mean, this is also what we know, talking together and probably working together. There is a Nomad Summit edition coming up next year in July that is all about remote work, remote employment. That will happen with its main event quite close to here at Kulturikatel, a big venue just outside of the old town from here. But Fraqmented has... As it's open now for like 1 year, did you already have your anniversary?
It's about 9 months.
Yeah. Not even a year, but it has grown into the place for community here. So maybe that's also time to talk a little bit about the landscape here and why you opened this. I mean, this city doesn't have a shortage in co-working spaces, but you still decided to open a new one. So where did you see a gap in the market that you wanted to fill with Fraqmented?
I think technically we didn't really see a gap more than we saw a potential, because we could in theory be replaced by a cafe. You could meet up with your friends in a cafe. I think what we wanted is a place where you didn't have all the small disturbing things that are in a cafe. So you could work more focused, and you would know that the person across from you.
With small disturbing things in a cafe, you mean kids?
It could be one of the things. But I mean, when you're discussing, let's say you are discussing a new, we know that nomads, they always have good business ideas, but then they're discussing them in a cafe, and you don't. There's nothing more annoying than being disturbed in the middle of you explaining or pitching your new idea to someone that might not be a co-founder, or at least give you feedback. So we wanted a place where nomads and solo entrepreneurs and small entrepreneurs could get feedback on their ideas, discuss their ideas, or just find partners or collaborators, possibly even co-founders, in an environment that was more set for doing exactly that.
And the other way, like we just didn't put we didn't name it as a co-working space. We just name it like a business hub. So the idea was where entrepreneurs or digital nomads or remote workers and the like-minded people can meet each other. So it's like you are going to somewhere, like you are coming to Estonia, or you are from Estonia, you want to meet other entrepreneurs, other digital nomads or e-residency people. So you have to come here, and then even if you come here, if you're coming here for a few hours, for sure you will be able to talk with someone. And then some people coming from other co-working spaces, they are telling us, hey, I was sitting there for 6 months. Here I just three hours, I talk with more people than I was talking there in 6 months. So the idea is more communication, more meeting more people. So it's like when you come here, you already have some connection with the people, because they're also entrepreneurs. They have the same mentality. So it's same, like I always make the same example, but I will do it here again. So you go to a football game, and then the same team, you always immediately next to the next guy, you have something common, so you immediately talk. Or if you go to church, for example, it's the same thing. So here maybe a church for entrepreneurs.
Oh, that's a big vision. So
I have to say this.
I mean, coming back to like your team formation and the personality types, what I had in mind earlier with this question is like, as a founder team, you ideally have at least one visionary type and one more executioner type, like the operations person. Do you have that between you, or are you all three philosophers and visionaries, or how do you actually get things done between you?
I mean, it's like we were saying before, it's such different backgrounds, business backgrounds, diplomacy backgrounds, whatever. I don't think you could carve us up into three distinct things, like one person's the operations, one person's the visionary, one person's the big dog boss or whatever. I really don't, because we take leadership where we need to in like an agile way, as opposed to old waterfall hierarchical structures. And when something goes wrong, we all jump in and help. And there's never any, hey, that was your job, that went wrong. So we're all helping as a threesome all the time. And we all have to show vision and come up with new ideas. And we all have to do operations. We all have to wash cups, and we have to move chairs around and carry heavy tables. And that's how it started. And that's how it still is 9 months later.
But in 9 months also things go wrong. So what did you learn? What was the one thing when you look back that you would have done differently if you had known?
I think definitely we didn't. So none of us have, because we're all digitally based. None of us have ever, I think, operated anything as big as this physically. So I think none of us knew how much it actually took get it up and running, and how many small systems you have to purchase into and stuff. So probably because we are very optimistic people, we just jumped ahead into it. But there probably could have been more research, which probably would have helped us budget and
Let's imagine, or we don't need to imagine, pretty surely among those listeners, there are at least 2-3 people who are in the same place like you were like maybe 10 months ago and are considering to open a co-working space or a community hub in their place. What would be that advice? What should they look in deeper that you missed in the first place?
They don't need to do a lot of research because if they do a lot of research, maybe they will not do the business itself. So, but the thing is, it's just...
Yeah, that's also a good point. Like done is better than perfect, and then you learn along the way.
Like if you want to do something, for me, I always do things. If I really feel it, that it's good, I just do it. So I find solutions on the way, because you want to do it, you will do it. It doesn't matter whatever it is. So here as well, it's the same thing. We knew that it's going to happen. But yeah, I did had physical businesses. I still have. I know how it takes, but it takes time to make it perfect. So yeah, if we did something like, if we were doing something differently, probably we would do it. Maybe do everything by ourselves, more hands-on, instead of trying to push it to other people, and then just take responsibility on everything, and then like maybe a little bit better planning. But yeah, I mean, like we did quite good. I feel we didn't have big mistakes. We didn't have big troubles here.
Yeah.
So that's why like I cannot say that like it was problematic or something like that. And it's always improving. We can always see that there's things improving.
Yeah, and I think back to that point on leadership and cohesion between the three of us. You know, so many people will tell you 3 is a really bad number. You've got to have 2 or 1 co-founders or whatever it is. Everyone has their theory, but I think the 3 of us checked our ego at the door, and none of us came in each day saying, "Hey, I'm the boss of this place, and you 2 are, you know, working for me," or something like that. We all went in it in eyes wide open. You know, we've got to put hard work in, some elbow grease, and we've got to have each other's backs. And, you know, stuff will go wrong, and that's just completely okay. You know, fail lots of times and learn as you go and keep iterating. And we really believed in this. We love hanging out with people who are coming up with cool business ideas, people who are helping foreigners, people who are helping locals, people who are integrating, people who are traveling. You know, so it was just passion first on all of those ideas. And also the other little things, like if Çağatay says, "Hey, let's paint that kitchen blue because it was bright orange before," you know, one of the others of us could have said, "Well, hang on, why blue? You know, orange was okay, let's make it green." And you could debate about that for, you know, 2 days or something. But no, blue is nice. It's probably better than orange. Let's just do it. And then it was done. So you don't get hung up on these little things. If one of you thinks it's going to be a good idea, it's probably going to be a good idea. If 2 of you think it's going to be a good idea, it's voted in. It's in. You don't have to have unanimity on everything.
And that's the beauty of a team of 3, that there can be a majority. So it can be a curse or a very positive thing. But you guys seem to be very mature with this. So I'm surprised. I wonder if this is maybe because of this cultural diversity here. You're coming from, I mean, still all kind of European cultures, but very, very different, at least in many nuances. So do you think the difference in your cultural backgrounds on the one side, but also kind of, I mean, you met here in Estonia. Each of you came to Estonia for a reason, and Estonia has a strong brand in terms of its mentality and stuff. So people who feel good here, they probably are meeting on a similar level of mutual values already. So how do you think did that play out in your team?
Maybe I should add something, but not relative to this subject, but before your earlier question. like we are doing this as a business, but in the same time we are a member of Fraqmented. We are doing it for ourselves as well. So this space is good for our businesses, our personal life as well. It adds up. So we don't see it as a business. That's why even it's a mistake, or if we have to cover it for each other's back, it's not a big deal because it's our space as well. We are working here. You come here and then meeting other people. It's good for us. So that's I think for me is the main idea. It doesn't make any trouble if I'm doing more, or if Markus is doing more, if Alistair. So it's like a rotating responsibility always.
Yeah,
So
I think in a co-working space it's healthy. In the gastronomy, they always say a bar is doomed to fail if the bar owner is also his best customer.
yeah, it doesn't work in co-working space.
No, but I think So to get back to your question, I think what we and a little bit also Çağatay's answer. What we wanted to create is a common space for everyone, because we know that there are very smart people out there, both in the government, in education, and also in the private sector, that they just need to meet someone. And then we know Estonia is, and you know probably also as well, in the winter it's quite quiet. So many people don't talk too much with each other. So that's also why we have taken a bit of a different approach with the long tables. So you're kind of forced to talk to the guy next to you. And that's, I think, one of the things that makes us different from normal co-working spaces, is that we don't have cubicles or anything. It's just open. So you're not safe. You will be doing small talk at some point. And that's the idea, because what we wanted is that, let's take one example. We know that finding the right developer can be a tough task. But working next to a developer for, let's say, 2-3 months, then you realize who that person is. And okay, maybe he's fit for my project. And now I can just small talk to him. I don't even need to buy a consultation hour. Not that that's not recommended, but then you can just talk about your project and say, okay, are you up for the task? Yes, you are. Okay, then we can talk about payment. You don't need to go through any procurement process or anything. It's all about making the right connections happen, and that's what we wanted to create.
And that's something that you've building here now for about 9 months. Alistair, you mentioned the tentacles back to your home countries earlier. So sounds like you are building here like a first proof of concept. What's next?
I mean, yeah, we have ambitions and dreams and visions about other places. You know, you've got to have a critical mass of people coming in and out, wanting to co-work with each other, whatever you build, however you build it, whatever the theme is. And the queue in Fraqmented is like the queue from diversity. It's like everything can happen under one roof. You can have all sorts of people mixing all of the time here. And that's our theme here. But the next city might be slightly different. Who knows? We've got 3 home countries to pick from, plus, Estonia. So that's 4 countries immediately between us. And then there's other cities in Estonia. There's other cities in the Baltics and the Nordics. Who knows what's next? But we want to get this right. This isn't a test bed. This is going to be really, really right. But we have desires to do this again. Yeah.
That's quite exciting. We covered this topic quickly in our lunch recently, Markus, where we also talked about the fact that a community place like this lives off the people who manage the community, which is right now the 3 of you. So whenever someone walks into the front door here, chances are high to meet more than one of you, but always at least one. So there is this personal connection. This is being shaped and formed by the 3 of you. So if you would, and that's also what the brand is built on. I mean, one thing is the bricks and mortar, the decoration, the cozy atmosphere, and the layout and stuff. But if you would put that all that same thing into another location and had a completely different person managing this, the outcome and the brand and then the people that get attracted by that could be completely different. So how would you approach this?
Yeah, I think ideally, we would have someone that was planning to move away from Tallinn, that we could meet in person and work with in person for some months. And then if they were planning to move to one of the cities that we were also thinking about, then that would be ideal. Because we want someone, I think, to have... We don't want someone alone to start something up. So there should be at least two, because no one person can manage a co-working space alone all the time. They probably have stuff to do and stuff in the middle of the day. So there needs to be rotating shifts. But yeah, they should be passionate about co-working, passionate about talking to people. So when we are here, I think most of what we do is talk to the members, and that's I think very, very important. Just a small conversation next to the coffee machine, but absolutely important. And inviting them into using our network, inviting them into coming to the same events as us. So we talk to people to find out what they do and what they like, and then if we see a match in an event or a match in some other persons, then we try to connect them. So we've done that a few times with back to developers. We've connected some developers with companies that needed developers. That turned out really great. And yeah, we'll continue to do the same with other workers.
Pretty cool. And in the end, it all comes down to inspiration, looking at other people's projects, looking at what works somewhere else. And a really good place for such a field trip would be the world capital of digital nomadism and remote work. That's Chiang Mai in Thailand, and ideally in the peak season, December and January. So this is an invitation to the three of you and to all of our listeners as well. Come visit us, come for the Nomad Summit to Chiang Mai, third weekend of January, and use that and our full week of independent side events that cover basically the entire city. We work with all the local co-working spaces there for probably in January more than 100 side events in the entire week. And that gives you a really good overview how the community works there, how the spaces are different, how they are managed, how they manage their community, and how they all work together under this umbrella of Nomad Week. So thank you very much for this interview here today. We have covered, I think, all the most interesting topics. If someone wants to visit you here, we will definitely put the links into the show notes below. And when someone walks through the door, how will they be welcomed by you?
We'll probably say, if you don't have a ticket, get out, please. No, I'm joking. We will just welcome you with open arms, and we'll see what you need.
Yeah, there's every Friday here an event that I think draws most people. What's that?
Yeah, so every Friday we host a co-working networking session where you will be served free cakes or donuts and some coffee, and then you're welcomed into co-work and just hang out. And also, getting back to your invitation, we'll include a discount code for all your listeners as well.
Amazing. Yeah. If you want to get your membership in Fraqmented with a little discount, you find that in the show notes. And so it's to me now to say thank you to all three of you for this insightful conversation, and to our listeners, listen to you next week for a new episode of the Nomad Summit podcast, and then see you all, whether in Chiang Mai in January or here in Estonia next year in July for the remote work, remote employment edition of the Nomad Summit. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.